Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Secondary Podcast where we discuss all things health and wellness. I'm your host Ifedayo, your in-house pharmacist, and from the continuation of last episode where we were talking about the DASH diet, today we're going to now elaborate more on how you can apply the DASH diet if you're a Nigerian. So, a lot of people would have been saying that, okay, this DASH diet, you're saying that I should, include whole grains, I should include vegetables and things like that. And you'll be wondering, like, okay, how can I, with the resources I have in my environment, how can I implement that into my diet? So today we're going to really elaborate on that. And like we said, DASH diet is particularly for those that are hypertensive and also have cardiovascular diseases. And the reason being that we are trying to see whether the approach of nutrition can improve on your overall wellness. A lot of people are taking medications for their various diseases, and they have not, sometimes a lot of them have not yet seen much results, and so they want to see what other angle can they take, and that's where we brought in the DASH diet. So today, stay tuned as we discuss more on how you can implement this into your diet. Now, for the DASH diet, for the last episode, we discussed on the 6 classes of foods that must be included in it, and we started with our fruits and vegetables, our lean protein, our whole grains, reducing your salt, or even if preferably including spices instead, and also your healthy fats. So today we're going to now lay more emphasis on the classes of foods in our locality and how you can also prepare them and implement them on your eating habits. So the first thing we're going to discuss is fruits and vegetables. Now, Nigeria is really blessed with so much types of fruits and vegetables, but if you're someone that is hypertensive or you have diabetes, there are some fruit that you should not include. So today we're going to first of all talk about the fruits, the vegetables that you should include if you're going to implement the DASH diet. Now, we know plantains. Plantains are very abundant in our locality. Apart from it being a fruit, we can actually use plantain for swallow. So from someone that is hypertensive and is looking at, okay, he wants to, maybe the doctor has told him to reduce the amount of carbohydrates he's taking, plantain swallow is something that you can do. And now, if you're going to do plantain swallow, ensure that you do it as the unripe, because when your plantain ripens, it increases the sugar content, which will not be ideal for a diabetic patient. The good thing about plantains is that it is rich in potassium, and once you have potassium in your diet, it actually helps your cardiovascular function. Then the other one we're going to talk about is your pawpaw. Your pawpaw is rich in antioxidants such as your lycopene, which is good for your heart's function and your eyes. Then we also have our oranges, which is always in season, which is something that is also rich in your vitamin C. Now we all know that vitamin C is a very, very powerful antioxidant, so you should also include that in your diet. Then we're going to now talk about your fiber. Now, when we're talking about fiber, there's so much that we have in our locality that a lot of people are not even aware that is rich in fiber. First of all, we're going to talk about ofada rice. When we say you should be including your whole grains, we have white rice, which a lot of people eat in Nigeria, but what about ofada rice? Ofada rice still has its fiber in it and is also rich in your B complexes. So you including ofada rice in your diet, which some people term as brown rice, it would also improve on your digestion, and it has been shown to reduce your cholesterol level. Then another thing we're going to talk about when we are including on our fruits and vegetables and fiber is oats. Though oats is not grown or produced in Nigeria, it's something that you can introduce because oats has a fiber called beta-glucan. Now, this beta-glucan is a soluble fiber which helps to reduce your cholesterol level. So including oats, if you can include it as your for your breakfast. You can use it for swallow also if you grind it as a flour. So for somebody that loves to take pounded yam, and then of course it's something that you're trying to change your diet, or you love to take fufu or other swallows that are not healthy for you, especially if you have hypertension, oat swallow is something that you can go for. Then there's another cereal that I'll talk about which falls into the class of your whole grains, and that is your fonio. Fonio, also known as acha, is a grain that is, apart from it being nutrient dense, is very rich in fiber. It has iron, so for those that are anemic, it's also very good for them. So fonio is something that you can include for your baked goods. Now, you know that if you're going to be including these types of whole grains, you have to remove your white flour. So pasta is a no-no. White bread, instead of going for white bread, go for whole wheat bread. Now, whole wheat bread is made from wheat flour, but at least it has the fiber in it. Then the other aspect we're going to now discuss is inclusion of your protein. For the DASH diet, you don't just go for any kind of protein. So we have lots of protein. We have protein from animal source. We have protein from your plants. If you're going to go for the animal source, you go for proteins that are like your fish. Now, your fish is rich in your omega-3, 6, which is excellent for your cardiovascular health. Then chicken and your turkey. If you're going to go for chicken, it's preferable you go for your local chicken. Those ones, we don't have them injected with all sorts of hormones, and they've been raised normally. So you know that you're going to have the benefit of a lean meat when you go for your local chicken. If you're going to go for turkey, it's advisable to go for turkey that was raised locally. Don't go for the frozen one, because you cannot really guarantee whether they were raised on a highly processed diet. Then we will now talk about our salt. For someone that's going to be on the DASH diet, you have to ensure that apart from the salt intake that you're going to include, the salt, you have to measure it. Go for at least 1.5 grams of salt or 1,500 milligrams of salt per day. So that means that you're going to have to be cooking from home, or even if you're going to have someone that is you want to patronize the caterer, make sure that you tell them the specifics of the diet. Then we have a lot of spices that are abound in our locality. We have what we call our local locust beans, which is called iru in Yoruba dialect. So you can include iru, or you can even do things like thyme. We have parsley, we have curry. These are things that you can include. Then there is another aspect that I would like to inform you on, and that is what we call sea salt. I don't know whether you have heard of it, but sea salt is something that is now being promoted. Sea salt is a healthier alternative to your normal table salt, because it still has all the minerals that are beneficial to you. The inclusion of a DASH diet, it would have things like calcium, magnesium, and potassium, and that's why we are really laying emphasis of putting things like your vegetables in your diet. Then if you're someone also that wants to take your beverages and you're looking at, okay, what kind of dairy product should I go for, it's advisable that if you're on the DASH diet, you go for dairy products that are low in fat. So yeah, if you're someone that you love to take yogurt, go for your low fat yogurt, go for your skimmed milk. If you're going to include your protein in your diet, things like beans, we have your kidney beans, we have honey beans, we have various types of beans in Nigeria, which you can also include. But if you're going to include beans, also remember that beans has carbohydrates, so make sure you limit the amount of beans you eat. Then when we're talking about your healthy fat is very, very essential, because they are rich in monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. If you do things like your regular vegetable oils, those ones are saturated fat, which is not ideal if you're going to be on the DASH diet. So including palm oil in your diet, you can use palm oil. It is saturated fat, but you should use it at the minimum. If you're now going to look for options for your fats for your diet, you can do avocado oil. Avocado oil is very, very good. It is rich in omega-3 also. Your coconut oil also is something that you can include in your diet. Then you can do things like your olive oil. Though olive oil is not produced in Nigeria, but that is something that is rich in omega-3, which you can include in your diet. So now that we have talked about the different types of foods that you must have in your DASH diet, we're going to now talk about how you can prepare this DASH diet so that you can have a proper meal. So if you're someone that eats 3 times a day, for a DASH diet, you can first of all start with a cereal breakfast, and that cereal might be including your oats. So you can make your oats into a porridge, and then you would add your fresh fruits. Then one of the things I always emphasize on is that go for fruits in season. You can include your bananas. There is what we call mixed fruits. Mixed fruits are normally dried fruits like your raisins that you can, top up with your oats. Put your banana, like I said, and then if you have your, let's say, mangoes, if it's in season, so you can have that as breakfast. Then you can have your slice of whole wheat toast with boiled egg and avocado. That can do for your breakfast. Then for your lunch, you can do your vegetable soup, whether it is your efo, your ugu. And one of the things is that when you're making these vegetables, ensure that you do them slightly steamed, because when you overcook your vegetables, you've killed all the beneficial nutrients in them. So you're basically just having a sweet meal but lacks the necessary nutrients you need for the DASH diet. Then you make your fonio swallow. I mentioned fonio earlier. So you do your fonio swallow, and if you're someone that you don't have access to fonio, you can either do your sweet potato. Even yes, sweet potato, you can make it as a swallow because it's rich in fiber. Or oats. If your oats is milled, you grind your oats into a fine powder and then you do it as a swallow. And then if you are someone that might not really like oats, you can do unripe plantain as a swallow. You can have that as your lunch. Then for your dinner, you can have your ofada rice with vegetable stew also. And then before you go to bed, have like a salad by the side. Now you'll be wondering that, how can I make the salad? You can have your cabbage, your tomatoes, your cucumber. Then instead of doing your normal salad dressing, which is very high in saturated fats, a lot of preservatives, just get your lemon, a bit of honey and vinegar, mix it together and use that as a dressing. So that would also help aid proper digestion. Then if you're someone that during your in between meals, you like to snack a lot, there's so many snacks that you can indulge in. We have our dried chips, that's your plantain chips. Preferably do them at home, or go for your nuts. We have healthy and beneficial nuts that are very, very rich in omega-3. We have your cashew nuts, we have your local nuts that are called walnuts. And then if you're someone that is not allergic to groundnut, you can also do groundnuts. So that comes to the end of today's discussion on DASH diet. Now, DASH diet is not specifically formulated for those that are hypertensive or have any other kind of end stage disease. If you're someone that is trying to look at how to live a better, healthier and fulfilled life, I think DASH diet is something you can start to promote. Once you're someone that is above 40, there are so many health conditions that can start springing up, whether you are a male or a female. So having the DASH diet would improve on your overall quality of life. Your kidney function will improve, your cardiovascular health will be on its optimum best. Even if you're someone that you have a family history of diabetes, indulging in a DASH diet would reduce your chances of developing that as you get older. Like we always say on our podcast, please feel free to drop comments on any topic that you still love us to cover, or maybe things that is of interest to you that has not been discussed on our podcast. And also share with your friends and family, your loved ones. This information is going to educate everyone around you, because we are trying to promote overall wellness, and also we want to make sure that people have their best life. Until I see you next time on our podcast, stay blessed.